Tucker Carlson was confronted, not in liberal New York City, in Montana, at a fishing shop. This is where he's supposed to be among his fellow woodsmen, right? He likes to cosplay as a woodshop.
Which I just want to say,
fella.
as a North Dakotan and somebody who has hunted for at least the North Dakota part of my life, that the idea that you go into Cabela's or any of these sort of like big outfitters, and that every one of the people in there is a fire-breathing MAGA person is a really something that I think people who don't have experience in those situations need to dispense with. Like, you'll get all sorts of type of people, from like conservationists to, of course, you know, the MAGA-type people. But a whole lot, as this video will show, like, it's not just Tucker watchers, for instance.
No, I said that facetiously, really, because I used to go to Cabela's all the time in Pennsylvania with my uncle. That was then we go camping. It was a fun time. I kind of liked it because they had the big stuffed animals there, and it was like they had like a big setup in the middle of the place.
It's
anyway,
like a whole like little forest in there.
But this doesn't seem like it's a Cabela's. This seems like it's not. It's like a local place in Montana. I'm sure it's outside of Big Sky. That's definitely where Tucker wants to go. But he thought he was in his home base, right? He didn't think he was going to get attacked at a place like this, because unlike Matt and I, we don't have he doesn't have a sophisticated understanding of the American people, right? Let's watch this and experience orgasmic Schadenfreude, and sorry for saying that as well.
Don't even get my. I don't care, man. Okay, just dude, you are the worst human being known to mankind. I want you to know that what you have done to this state, to the United States, to everything else in this world. I don't care that your daughter's here. What you've done to people's families, what you have done to everybody else in this society. Son. Don't call me son. One.
So he essentially did his little look at the camera and tried to laugh out of that uncomfortable situation, get himself out of it. But man, he looked pissed.
Yeah, I am of two minds about this. I absolutely think Tucker deserves to be confronted in public about I think, blood on his hands over the COVID misinformation that he's peddling, or it's disinformation if it's conscious, right? I think Tucker's consciously basically fudging facts to present a narrative. I also know people who are like local news reporters who I've seen a lot of like worrying interaction with public people, seeing them sort of trying to just do their jobs out. I mean, Emma, you know this too, right? So I hate to side with, I think it was Enrique Acevedo of one of the major networks, who said, like, I don't know if journalists, we should be encouraging this. Like, I personally think that people should be probably doing it more towards elected representatives. But absolutely, like, it is enjoyable to see Tucker Carlson notice that he's being berated on camera by exactly the sort of person that his new rebrand post
Fetishizes.
Bow tie is trying to fetishize.
Well, and I mean, I'm with you for the most part, Matt, and like it's probably the right take. But Tucker is such a unbelievably public and famous person. As I always say, he is the top-rated cable show in the country, and he's unabashedly hateful, unabashedly trying to make the country a worse place, unabashedly lying on at every turn, and
unabashedly naturalizing racial hierarchies with Charles Murray.
Yes, right. Unabashedly promoting white supremacy, and knows he's doing it, and consistently has secret messages in his monologues for white supremacists on purpose. So I enjoyed that purely because there's journalists and then there's Tucker Carlson. And I think that sometimes when somebody achieves that kind of status, he's a bit above that kind of, I think, protection. It's not journalism. It's demagoguery and punditry on like a mass-produced monopolistic level. So, you know, you're a better person than me, but I very much enjoyed that. I really did.
And as someone who's very cynical about Tucker, I genuinely, earnestly don't think he believes a word that he says. I think he sees where the money is, and that's where he goes. I will say, I wonder if potentially this is something that might jolt him even at 1% to think, oh, like I'm being confronted in public because people are so disgusted at how odious my program is.
Dude, he's just not going to go in public anymore.
That's an idealistic, hope there. My only other concern, in terms of what Matt's saying, is I just hope this guy doesn't then become, the A block on Tucker's show tonight and essentially have his house surrounded by people, wanting to get a piece at him,
Also, Bradley, your mic's echoing a little bit, so I think, don't worry about it. But no, it's all good. We just got to get you on one of those fancy mics Matt has. But yeah, so I agree. For the most part, I don't love the public confrontations. I never really liked it. What was it? Sarah Huckabee Sanders when she was eating at a restaurant. It's just like, all right.
Look, I mean,
that one, that one. He just smiled in his face. He said, "You're the worst human being I've ever met or seen in my life."
Yeah,
kind of okay.
I want to give, I gave one side of the argument. I'm with the same brain going to give this same side, which is that I like that. I do think like it's good to get into your representative's face. I was on a plane once back to North Dakota that both Heidi Heitkamp and John Hoeven were on, and this was before Trump had taken office, but after he won. So I didn't really have like anything to like go after Hoeven with, but like I've always thought of that, like if that took place during,
and Heitkamp lost. Right? She lost in 2016, so she was lame duck.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, my memory, she was still in office, but I think you're right. And I think like you get it on camera and have a few choice words, and that's all you need, and to make your point and duck out. Right.
Yeah. So I think that towed that line.
Because this is like ultimately you're not going to change Tucker Carlson's mind. I hope people don't think that. These sorts of gambits are just for the propaganda value.
Right. Which, I mean, again, for the propaganda value, that's kind of,
well, that's why we're playing it.
Right. Play the right. We're saying it. We're saying it at least.
Folks, there's more of what you've just saw where that came from. That's if you hit the subscribe and like button. Thank you. Really, thank you.